So your pool permit, what was the pool permit? Hold on. What is the pool permit? You have a pool that's currently there. Do you have a permit for it? Okay. So this is the existing pool that's on the survey, 14 by. Okay.
You're just basically raising one end of it to have like the lay-in area and then the spa part, but then the rest of like the actual like bathtub, for lack of a better phrase, is staying the same. And it's the same initial square footage, you're just changing the inlay part of it. Okay, so it's,
New sub permit revision to existing PB 221. Can you look this up, please? 224-41, remodeling all tiled pool.
so where the previous one ended was you're now to the left of it, it is adding that spa and the lay-in area.
I need to pull up the existing permit. And then what is this trellis looking thing that's on, that I see on the application?
It says that that's not covered in that same drawing. It says that that's covered under a different permit.
Okay, but what is the existing permit?
It says proposed trellis by other separate permits.
Yeah, I just don't know why the trellis structural calcs and details are in the package.
Are you able to look this up? Are you guys understanding the change? From the
Yeah, so
existing permit
they-
to the new permit?
Yeah, they're
Group.
they're just extending the existing pool by the length of the.
Yeah,
spa
but that's what is shown in here as they're changing, but Gage's question is what got approved in that first,
What did we already approve? What's already been approved?
That part.
Yeah,
is
I don't know.
there.
what got approved originally. It sounded like
What is the revision?
you mentioned about coping. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. So you
This is
submitted
actually
a
a-
permit just to retile the existing. Now you're extending the existing pool and enlarging it, so you're back for a revision to the first one.
It's two separate things, actually. One is pool tile around the deck, and now this is actually for the spot.
Yeah, well, I don't know, it sounds like the building department told them it was a revision to their old permit.
Okay, so we're actually looking at an application for the spa here. This is almost like it's separate.
Yeah, I mean, it's also part of the pool because it's like a walk-in. You know,
Okay, so I mean, the setbacks are fine. It's still within the 30-10-10. The spa part. Cause they're, yeah. So if y'all are clear on this,
Yeah, the pervious versus impervious calculations were wrong, but it still comes out to 36%, so they're still well under. So
you want
my
the,
motion to approve.
okay,
1 second.
okay. So David Ed, right? Yeah, David Ed. All in favor, say aye, aye.
Aye.
Okay, but just to be clear, this is not the trellis. That's on, because there is a trellis here, but it says new aluminum trellis. Okay,
Yeah,
but I'm just gonna give you a heads up that where you want it, it's not gonna be allowed. Okay. Yeah. I'm just letting you know that it's, when you do apply for it, just to give you a heads up, you're asking for it to be in the front of the house. So it's within the 30-foot setback, so, just maybe want to rethink it a little bit before you come in for that application. But as far as the spa goes, you're approved on that.
yeah.
Yeah.
What? No, so the trellis, what you're saying is the.
We are not approving the trellis.
The,
No, you don't, it. It can be at 30. No, it could, as long as it's not closer than 30. It's an accessory structure. Well, it says 34.9 to the house. So, or 33, it says 33.4 to the house. No, tres. No, 3 feet.
Just also to note, they propose a fence on here too, a new 6-foot high fences in the front yard.
Going on this side. Want you to make, are you in open government now? And no trellis.
Paige, did you hear me? They also propose a fence in the front yard.
But that's not under this permit?
It's on the plan.
Yeah. But the same thing, with a fence, you actually are allowed to have a bump out, 15 feet from the front of the house, so you could come in, you could actually go to 18 feet for that fence. Right now, looks like you're you're wanting to do it at 20 feet, so you'd have to bring it back. Well, no, that's not even. The fence it can only be 15 feet in front of the house. So if. Sorry? And.
You have two fronts if you're on a corner lot. So they're both fronts.
Hold on. Well, why does the application say 971 Northeast 113th Street? So the front door faces 113th Street. So that's the front of the house. So you can go on that corner, you can actually go out 15 feet from the front of the house, which is 30, the house is at 33'4", so you could actually go to 18'4". So you are allowed to incorporate a part of that, yard into, behind the fence, but that's the limit. So, but again, we're not considering that today. So no fence either. So all we did was approve the pool. Okay. All right. Let's move on. Thank you very much. No more than 15 from the front of the house out. Thank you. Is there anybody for, old business C, before C, Gillum? All right. 1925 Griffin Boulevard, revision to addition permit. Old business Gillum. Is that the plan?
This is just the roof on the other side that you mentioned last time?
Is that the revised drawing? Got it? Did you, you submitted the new plan? Is this the copy here?
That's the one that we looked at for the structure, but they hadn't submitted this plan change when we looked at that, right?
A5? So the back is now gonna be a new flat roof. That's what you're saying? It says new flat roof, the part that's, hold on, go up there, guys. Yeah, you wanna see? That'll be a separate part. Yes. Yeah. That's why. Yeah, did you have a lot of drawings that, I think, so we haven't set of plans that are there that are approved. So you need to have a new plan, the new pages and certified. Oh, yeah, so how do you want to do that? There's any plans that, one plan that will revise, okay? Bring them in, and then they can insert it. Okay, very good.
Yeah, I was gonna say, that's the problem. They change architects, they gotta change every sheet because it's a new architect, so the whole set gets updated. That's a building code thing, which is what question?
Avoid confusion, then people get plans that are not been updated. We only want to see the plans that are different than what's approved.
Yeah, I mean, from P and Z, I'm saying the building department wants a whole new set because they have a new architect, so they want every sheet signed and sealed by the new architect. Like another set, that's gonna be required by the building department. When you change an architect, they want to see the whole set submitted and signed and sealed, but the new architect will vouch for every single sheet and detail that was approved, right?
So then you need to submit a whole new set of plans.
What, to answer your questions, what's changed should be clouded, right? So the architect might reissue every single sheet and stamp them, but they would cloud what's actually changed in terms of content. On the new, on whatever's different, the roof line changes, yeah. So they would cloud that so that a reviewer knows that's what's changed in terms of substance. And then the rest, they would cloud their signature and say, okay, I'm the new architect on that sheet, nothing changed on the sheet, but that's technically how. You should just cloud what's changed on the new plans, yeah.
Saying that you need to have new architects. submit a whole
Yeah,
new
I
set
think
of
the
plans.
building department, since you're changing architects, they're gonna want you to reissue every single sheet, right? Stamped by the new architect. But you're also simultaneously revising some of the design. So for those sheets that are affected, you would cloud what changed. Roof plan,
We're gonna vote on this now, but we're gonna wait to get the new drawings back to sign. Okay, all right. So. I just want to avoid confusion. I don't know. So is there a motion?
Motion to approve.
So your change is approved, we just need now your update. Okay, thank you. And you'll bring them back to the next meeting if they're ready. He'll bring them back to the next meeting if they're ready in 2 weeks and we'll sign. Oh,
Yeah. I mean, for his, I mean, I know you're under construction actively, right? So you probably don't want to wait 2 weeks just for a technicality. So can he just fix that and give it to Raphael, the building department? I'm talking about clouding a sheet, no reason to wait 2 weeks to get an approval from us. We gave him approval here, right?
Yeah, I mean, if he wants to just weed out the plans that are changed in that, because it looks like that stack is a whole bunch of different non-relevant drawings, to avoid confusion. Okay.
Here is that we just signed all those sheets and there might be 20 other changes that you didn't tell us about and now we approved them all.
Now we have all these, you know.
Seems like maybe there are sheets in there that, or no, things that didn't necessarily change. There's a sheet for some reason in the. I don't know, I'm guessing based on Gage's concern that there are extra sheets that aren't really relevant to why you're here.
Well, it's just, you know.
I mean, I guess roof plans and elevations are what changed, right? Interior floor plans didn't change at all. Yeah. They're like an interior layout of a bathroom. Which we don't really care.
It's an evolving plan, it seems like.
Which we don't.
So that is signed, and then we're gonna wait and get all the rest of the stuff updated, so you're okay. Um. Yeah, so just have your architect submit the new updated set, and we, yeah. Everything, yes. Perfect, yes, thank you. It's approved. Yes, sir. Thank you. Mhm. The verb, yeah, do you have a sign? This is for the. Building A, Zuaga, oh, we just did that, I'm sorry. Building B, Mayoli, anybody here for that? Okay, Mayoli, 680 Northeast 118th Street, painting exterior. A second. So kind of a white, off-white wall, trim in a shiitake gray, green color. What is the darker, the sealskin?
The dark color, but where
Where is it
using
going? The sealskin.
Let's off it. You have pictures there of where it's going? You can give it to me, I'll pass it. Oh, this is the underside of it.
Yeah.
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 no, no, you
job.
did that clear, so I appreciate that. Motion to approve?
Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anybody here for
You're
building?
approved.
Yeah, you guys. are good to
Approved,
go.
thank you. Anybody here for, building CHQH Biscayne Park LLC? Oh, I'm sorry. And actually, I should have said this at the beginning of the meeting. This is actually should be moved to discussion. I will go ahead and we'll take it right now. But this is a first review. This shouldn't have been on the building.
Okay.
So can I get a motion to move to, the building, discussion C, 6C?
A motion, go ahead.
Move to 60.
Okay, so this is a first review for a new residence, at 824 Northeast 101st Street, 111th Street, I'm sorry. So let's take a look at it.
Well, I think that we should stick to kind of why we did the discussion process then of. We can therefore kind of roll through a lot of these other permits first. Just because-
Well, I already called them, so I mean,
Okay. Maybe.
you've done this with us before.
So,
So lot coverage. 11,000 square feet. There's 10 feet here, 11 there. So we're thinking that the lot coverage is 5,000, so you got 45.
What is it, architect?
This is a,
It's a little bathroom, a little bit cabana.
that's correct. We took her very simple, calculation, you know, before we go over. Total lot coverage.
Yeah, so like we're clearing this down to 5/7/4, but this is basically attached to this number 5/2. Saying that you exceeded that.
This is the one that's moving over. This is,
Yeah, so if it goes above that, so what you're saying is that your total for everything
What is this provided?
The previous, and it's the other.
But it's. Total lot coverage, so pervious or impervious. Total lot coverage, what is that?
So this number plus this number, what, 549. So they just created this formula for themselves to know that they can.
Okay, so this is what your lot covered, this is what's not covered.
That's correct.
Okay, got it, okay.
The previous also we did.
You have little eyebrows on the second story, what are these here?
Those are, I got them.
On the first floor or second floor?
Um,
They look like below. Front elevation. 17 feet, 27. Flat roof. So this is the rear, so there's an eyebrow over here. The score line is simple or is that?
It's a different. It's still working. There we go.
But this juts out, so this entire area is forward of that, that's way back.
That's correct.
So that actually. The second story part of the house is out way back on the lot. Probably 22 feet. So the second story doesn't start to 52 feet back from the property. Probably.
No.
Okay. But they're all full of it.
This one's what up.
Well, actually, back, wait, it's like, it's like 3 feet or something. So it's not actually the actual 10 feet, there's a little, that bump there. Do you have a dimension on that? I mean, it's probably like 3 or feet.
Yeah, just saying what it's not.
Wait a minute.
Feel free to.
So I mean, I think the eyebrows are great detail to break up this wall, but we still have a wall that's, so however many feet this is by 27 feet, that faces your neighbor. And these windows that look directly down into your neighbor's property.
Sure.
Or okay.
Oh, paper, coffee. That, you know, privacy, I'm going about privacy,
Well, I mean, it's kind of weird that you have beds in front of windows, but it's kind of, that's a little, yeah.
yeah, I'm happy to, example, it was, yeah, that one is.
There's, no, like, point, your headboard's gonna be half at the window, right? So you probably want to, start your furniture layout. Can have a bed. It actually looks much better with clear sort of windows.
It was. Yeah, we're.
30 to 52 on because I think they have it, they're proposing it on the front, so maybe something along the right. Or these are the dimensions that you like wall.
Or you carry the material. Part of. So there, and then which side of the two of these is going to have? Or the. east?
Just pick a side, basically. To provide access back to the pool, maybe on this side. Mechanical on the other side. I would actually do that. And notch it in over here, because you have all this blank wall here too. So this is set back, 13, 14 feet, but this would be an ideal place for.
Yeah.
for equipment back there. And it would actually still be room to go down.
Or before. Okay.
And this is the one you'll actually see more of it. It's halfway across.
Well, we don't know
How
how
far
far,
the front, this is at 10 feet.
yeah, but what I'm saying is, we don't know the neighbor's house, that.
And I agree, I understand, this is the one that you're probably seeing more. This way to the front door, you see that one.
They both of that. Don't go to the part.
You have this steep one with these long eyebrow with the windows up underneath them. Solving this is a long eyebrow with the windows. Up underneath, so provide sitting.
But you don't have that here. So. What the. Why the height is.
So something with these walls on the side, something with the sidewalk, privacy for the neighbors.
The tree survey.
What you're taking out. What people want to do. So you definitely need a tree. There's a lot of trees that are. Um, Placing new ones. It's something to really be considered with your layout. Something to consider. So maybe I'm trying to get a survey for the next. For the next 2 years. Because we're gonna need that before we move on. So again, this is the 3-step process. This is the first step is getting feedback. Yeah. When you're ready to come back. Then it's all-
Oh, yeah, back in.
So that's moved to second reading. It'll be a discussion item. All right, anybody here for Candelario, building B, 5B? Nope, okay, we'll come back to that one. Anybody here for 11150 Griffin Boulevard for a pool? All right, how you doing, sir? This is
Hey, welcome back.
building 5E, 11150 Griffin Boulevard for a new pool. Okay.
Same, is it for that one? So they kept you, the new owner. The new owner kept you. The new owner kept you working on the project. This is that funny project with the property lines out in the canal somewhere.
This is the abandoned house, the house, when abandoned, the house has been under construction for a long time.
No, I was looking at the appraiser's site and doesn't have the property line in the middle.
No? Showing on their survey, I think.
They actually,
I mean, it does, we don't have a rear property line, but
they're actually the middle of the canal.
Yeah. that's
not
what-
for the appraiser, so.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so what is your lot coverage on this? Your lot, your current and no, I know, but I'm just saying you still have a maximum lot
Yeah,
coverage.
you're
So
right.
what is your calculation?
Razor, it looks
lot
like it's right
coverage
at the edge of the.
with the house and with the,
They're not always right.
Yeah, no, I would trust the survey better.
Says that the pervious is 65.5 and that the pool, I'm assuming this is pool plus patio is 4,500 square feet and not the pool just by itself is 4,500. That's a,
that he submitted a lot coverage.
so it's in the little packet or that we have online. So it comes out to the impervious percentage comes out to 34.5, but it has the pool line listed as 4,500, which I'm assuming that means is including all of the patio work around it.
Right.
So he's still at,
The pool is 400.
Yeah, but and like from the rendering, there's lots of stone work around it.
okay, so right now he's at 34.5 according to the calculations. The setbacks are fine in the middle of the yard.
I'm questioning the setback though. What is the setback from the house?
From the rear of the house?
I don't think there is.
Residential, nothing.
Oh, okay.
Is there a Florida building code minimum or something?
Inside the house.
Huh?
For residential, it can go
Right up to the house.
inside, outside, you know,
That's-
both.
That's a new one to me. Thought we had a setback from
Okay,
the house.
I'll take a motion if y'all are ready.
Motion to approve.
Second.
David, Ed, all in favor, aye, aye.
Aye.
Okay, good. Thank you, sir.
Now I want an inside outside pool.
If it's a structure that's being built,
In,
yeah.
like,
I mean, if you're building. a
Commercial
structure, yeah.
condos, you have to have a 5-foot walkway.
Okay.
Other
Yeah,
cities do.
you're now approved. I mean, it has to go through all the rest of the grades.
Maybe from a zoning point of view.
For zoning,
Yeah.
says you're okay.
And go,
Okay, that's what I'm just like
Either.
in tune with. I'm like, wait, what's the setback? from the house?
Thank you, sir.
Thanks.
Building, 5F, Zack, anybody here for that? Okay, 11193 Northeast Eighth Court, variance application. I feel like you can go up to the counter, the podium there, sir. No, but I mean, well, if we haven't asked, we have a question for you.
Okay, perfect.
Right, so you're asking for a variance from the land development code to,
Sorry, Gage, what's five what?
it's 5F.
Doesn't seem to work off of the website.
I got it. So he needs to have a pod for longer than 14 days. It's allowed by code.
That's, yeah, you're asking for relief from the code for the 14 days, I understand. Okay.
That's the thing in the pod in front of my house for 6 months. I had to pay to renew it every 2 weeks, $50 or whatever it was, but. I feel like mine was very much longer.
But
I got lucky.
yeah, but isn't that what the pods are for? Is they actually can be moved to a storage facility type of thing? Okay. So,
Hey, correct me if I'm wrong, but it was a while ago that I used one, but that once if the pod's being held at the storage place, you are not, that doesn't mean that you're allowed to access it.
Yeah, you want to do it, it's not like right in the community, I have to send all that commitment. And then, you know, at the time I need to get, you know, my. So I can have that, and I have to do that. One thing that when you go to the community, I think that was just push back, it would be, you know, pretty.
do you have a more than a 30-foot setback in your front yard? So, I mean, the design, the code is there so that we don't have pods sitting in our front yards all over. You know, it's meant so that people can use pods and take them away. But I mean, you are asking for a variance. We're gonna go over the requirements for variance. But I mean, there's a point to the code of not having, not having pods everywhere. And regulating the amount of time that pods can be there. So,
Question, is there an active building permit that you're working under? Or? Yeah, so you have this is while you have an open permit for construction.
I didn't want to start with getting a pod, rent a pod,
Right.
so I got it paid now, I'm hoping that. Stuff out there, in the house.
I understand. I just was clarifying whether you just had a pod because you're cleaning your house. No, you have a pod because you're doing construction.
okay. So, So our code is clear on, so let's just clarify. The code is that, portable storage units may on its site. Hold on, may remain on site up to 14 consecutive days and will be permitted up to 3 times per year unless otherwise authorized year end. Okay. Okay. So are you proposing a time limit? Or are you just kind of proposing that you can have it as long as you want? Okay, so, all right, so this is in the land development code. That's why there's a variance request for it, because that's what we regulate. So the question, the 4 points of a variance. There are special circumstances or conditions affecting the property which are such that the strict application of the code would deprive the applicant of reasonable use of their land. It's just. But this is the variance application for this section of our code. So, you're. And you have to meet all 4 of these points, by the way. And first of all, we just actually make a recommendation to the village commission, whether we recommend yes or no, you have the right to go to the village commission, just to be clear on that. But it's our job to review and make a recommendation to the village commission, whether or not they, what we think they should approve it. So
Can I ask- Sorry, Gage, 11-10-8 says portable storage units will be permitted as long as an active permit is in place. Any portable storage unit which is not removed at the end of the prescribed time for which it may lawfully remain in place or immediately upon direction of code. So isn't there a bit of a conflict here? I mean, it says I can have
but it doesn't say, but what is the
I
act?
only have it while I have a permit, period, and then I can only have it for 14 days. Can I have a portable storage unit without an active construction permit?
But it doesn't, but what is the active permit?
Well, he's saying he's got a permit. That's what I asked in the beginning. So to me, I'm just wondering if that 14-day rule is for the person who is
Like the,
doing house cleaning or, they're moving or whatever, they've got a time limit, but someone who's got a permit, they can have that there for as long as they have a permit open and active and, without
It'd be
violations.
similar
and-
to like a dumpster permit where you don't have an expiration.
Yeah. Separate dumpster permit, you gotta have a construction fence, so I don't think he wants to go there, but yeah, I feel like there should be a different application if it's under a permit. More
but
sympathetic.
it doesn't say what the active permit is.
It says, well, under our code, it says, will be.
Does that mean you can have,
And-
but what you're saying is, can somebody have a permit, put a portable storage unit as long as they have an active fence code, fence.
Yeah, I mean,
permit?
that's what a code said. The code says, yes. You have an active permit.
Any portable storage unit which is not removed at the end of the prescribed time, what does that mean? What is the prescribed time?
Yeah, I mean, as long as your permit is valid.
And this is for one, right? One bud. Is that how y'all are reading this?
I mean, I'm not reading the code part, but listening to him read it out loud and then you read it out loud, the way that I interpreted it is like, I had a neighbor that had a pod for 30 days and I know that they renewed it halfway through, but that was because they were in the process of moving out and it just took them a while to load up the pod. But I think I agree that if the code says, hey, if you have an active permit and you're doing renovation stuff and all of that, then to me, seems like a fully legitimate reason for why you should be able to have a pod there for more than a month and a half. I think the only interesting thing is that if he was knocking out any exterior holes in the house or whatever, then we would be saying that he should also have construction fences and stuff like that. And then I feel like we wouldn't have any issue with it because we'd have the eyesore that is construction fences. So to me, I see it as within the code, but I'm just reading or listening to the two of you guys read it.
I think we might feel more comfortable if we had some sort of an end date as well. I mean, you do mention approximately 6 months in your application. I know, I know, I know, I know.
Yeah. I mean, you'll be motivated because you're gonna be living in the dust the whole time.
So, I mean, I wish the code was more clear and it actually said active building permit and not just active permit, because it's a very vague, it's a very vague way it's written. But if the board is gonna,
If he was here telling us that he's doing his fence, we'd say, hey, it doesn't seem like a legitimate reason for a storage unit, but he is doing a construction permit. So even if it said construction permit, it'd still qualify, right?
is it, it's
I
that-
don't, I don't mean
I'm
that.
saying, is this gonna be the interpretation of the board? Because if it is, then let's go ahead and we don't need to, we can say to him, he doesn't need a.
I don't speak for the
variation.
board. I speak for
Right.
myself. I believe if you have an active construction permit, you should be entitled to have a pod for the duration of that. permit.
Makes sense.
Well, it does say, but sir, it does say, actually say 14 consecutive days. But it's just that the line, as long as an active permit is in place, it doesn't dictate what is that permit.
I think,
So
I think,
there's a very big gray area right there.
I think the 14-day thing is to speed the process of people moving in or moving out and not just dragging on for 3 months.
Yeah, because that part that says 14 days, Gage, it also says at the end, or as otherwise authorized herein. Herein being 5 lines later, for as long as you have a construction permit. By the way, even if he has it for longer, they are gonna make him renew and pay the $50 every 2 weeks, which trust me, gets old real quick. So, they also incentivize you, construction permit or none, you want to get that thing out of there, because you're paying for it over and over and over,
So there is a fee every 15 days,
every 2 weeks.
2 weeks. You're aware of that, right? Um,
I've been through it, went through it.
So then we don't need to approve the, if this is what our
Our
interpretation.
interpretation is gonna be that he does not need a variance.
Okay,
Okay, and everybody's agreed on that?
so thank you for your $25 donation to Village of Biscayne Park. Okay. Yeah.
How does the village normally regulate pods? When people bring pods in, do they do they have to get a permit? No, but I'm saying,
Get some kind of
initially to bring it in,
permit.
huh?
You get like a yellow sheet of paper that you tape on the pod, so you get some kind of permit.
So to have it delivered, you have to get some kind of permit from the village.
Have it sitting in your yard, there's a yellow piece of paper you need to put on it,
So their village is regulating that it's there.
and they will stop by and tell you it's 3 days expired, go update it.
Okay.
They may, so it sounds like, again, I don't want to speak for the whole board, but if there's consensus here, it sounds like you can go back and say, I have an active construction permit per section, whatever. I'm entitled to have it there for the duration. I'll pay my renewal fee every 2 weeks, but
And you just
I'll-
apply the
I'll-
250 to the,
Right.
to the permit.
Yeah, and Raphael works in there as well, so if there's the issues, then he can attest the fact that, hey, yeah, we had this whole conversation.
Well, we're gonna vote on it right now that there's not a, no need for a variance.
I make a motion that no variance is required, that per the existing code, he's entitled to have a storage pod during, as long as he has an active permit.
And he
Second.
pays the fees. Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
So we're agreement that it was Ed and then David.
David.
All right. So no variance necessary. Well, he'll let them know too.
Yeah, and just proceed to issue the pod permit, please. Yeah.
It's covered under our code, 11.10. 10.8. As long as he has an active permit, he's allowed to keep the pod and pays the fees, obviously. Mr. Negretti's got something. So Negretti, 11601 Northeast 10th Avenue, new roof tile. Does that match? You have a white roof. Okay, are you replacing the entire roof? Okay, you'll gotta get a paint permit for the roof. So he has an addition that he's putting on, he has an S tile and he's adding for an S tile?
Make a motion to approve, subject to the final roof being a consistent color.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
All right. Okay, motion carries. You're good, thank you. Hey, did you take your pool out? It's still in there? I saw the addition, I'm like. Okay. Okay, thank you, sir. All right, is anybody here for BB Park LL 117 LLC? 11780 Northeast 8th Avenue construction fence. And it's also the H demolition permit. The same thing, so we can look at them both.
It's the little one that a variance or didn't ended up being 50% saved. Is that what-
What is that?
I don't remember what project.
So the fence is along the front, around the side, and it's on the property line, so the fence is fine. The demolition,
Oh, they're saying they're demoing the whole thing.
what was being saved?
There was one house on the street that was, the facade was kind of gonna be
That's the one that,
reused.
that is the one that's like 116 something, right?
Yeah,
That's
so
the one that
different.
was, the lot was only 70 feet wide. This is a different house.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
And you have a construction permit? Okay.
It's the first case of the new.
First case of- is that- so-
Regulations.
Did-
No.
So our code still says, I mean, did that pass, Commissioner? The change of our code that said that you do not have to have a construction permit. Our current, I mean, the state says one thing, but our current code still says you have to have a construction permit in order to get a demo permit, but it's mute because the state basically
I
said.
mean, that state would say that's your problem that your code is not current. You can't deny an applicant by state rule, right? So.
A second, okay. So can I get a motion on the construction fence?
Motion to approve?
Second.
David Ed, all in favor say aye, aye. Okay, and then a motion on the demo plan.
Motion to approve.
Second.
David Ed, all in favor, say aye. 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 Okay. You're good, sir. Look forward to seeing your plans for the new house. All right, anybody here for Bordon? Murph, okay, Bordon, 11935 Northeast 11th Place, re-roof, 1,400 square
Okay.
foot tile.
Real
new
quick.
cap-
Gage, Matt, while you're here, one thing that we discussed as a board, because the state law changed, we can't prevent people from demoing a property, whether or not they have an intent to put anything on that property. And we're concerned that suddenly we have a empty lot with a construction fence in perpetuity, right? So there are other municipalities like Bay Harbor, where their code says the moment you demo a structure, you have to resod and remove any temporary fencing. And then you have to maintain that lawn until you have a new permit. And when you have a new construction permit, then you can put up a construction fence and you can start construction. So one thing for us, maintain it as a, yeah, as a park. So one thing for us to consider. We don't have anything that says if you demo that you have to then sod the property and maintain it. People can demo and keep a fence up.
Yeah,
6 months, 8
Anything
months.
that says that you can pull or that you should pull, or that you have to pull the construction fence down.
Well, it's you can only have a construction fence if there's an active permit.
Sure, but you
So
could
the
demo and not
demo
close your
permit
demo
has to be closed at some point.
at some point, right? Could be
But
6
in
months.
6 months, if the house is gone in 6 months and they try to renew it, how do you, obviously they shouldn't be doing that.
Yeah.
So in so they could simply have a construction fence for 6 months.
Can we make it the demo permit 3 months? Or 60 days? So
That's-
that way they have
that's-
to do it.
That would be a
Just some thought for us to talk about, because now that we can't stop anyone from demoing whether or not they have intent to build, we don't know what we're gonna be left with after the fact, right? So.
And also if there's do you have to have an inspection for a demo? Like, is there an actual inspection by a
Probably-
building
I
inspector?
think any permit, you need a final inspection to close.
So if they're doing a final on the building inspection or the demo permit, then the fence has to come down within a certain amount of days, I would imagine, that final
Yeah, it's the
inspection.
question if they call the final, they could do everything and just not call for final for 6 months.
Well, and that's why I'm saying if we make it so that the demo permitting
shorter-
process. is
shorter
60
duration,
or 80.
A requirement to sod, there are options, just something for us to.
It's something for, it's really kind of above our,
It's
Yeah,
good that
that's
we're
why I'm
having this
mentioning it.
conversation out loud, but it's amongst ourselves.
okay. So anyway, that would be something for our commission to review, because I don't know if it's a the length of a permit, is that something that's by ordinance? Or is it by the Florida Building Code? I mean, who says 6 months? Where is that regulated at?
Yeah, I don't know the answer
Okay.
to that.
All right, so, we do have Bordon, so. Murph, what is a cast tile? Cast tile. Yeah. Is that like a concrete tile? Okay, so it's an S tile, large S, okay. But I just, the wording, you're using the terminology, new cast tile, flat roof. No, but I'm just saying, but the word cast, I was just curious if it was like a special type of tile.
No, I think it's new construction, because if you scroll down on the roof plan diagram, it says new CO, I think an NST. Yeah, I feel like that's what they tried to write. You see what I'm talking about, Gage, a little further down on the roof plan diagram?
So this is not in a full re-roofing, it's actually just a partial re-roof?
Yeah, and new construction tile, 1,300 square flat roof.
Oh, re-roof, it's hatched at the bottom, it says re-roof, which that looks like the original front house, and then new construction.
So it's new construction, not.
So the entire roof is being redone in that terracotta. Except for the flat roof, okay.
Motion to approve.
David Ed, on first side, aye,
Aye.
you're good. Yeah, I mean, if it's bright pink, we might have an issue with it. You know, Usually, you know, green, blues, green, terracottas, rays kind of things. We try to stay within there. Nothing too crazy. All right, you're good. Thank you, Murph. Dodaro, is that Dodaro here? Okay. All right, so this is, it's new construction, but it's only a garage on the back, so I think we should go ahead and.
Keep it as an agenda item, yeah.
So this is Dodaro 12010 Northeast 11th Court, new detached garage, Dodaro. Northeast 11th Avenue. Yeah, but the one.
It's in the backyard.
Is 11th Ave. Are you the contractor or the owner? Or the owner, okay. So is that the alley that's behind you? That's called 11th Avenue? Okay, because total different setback issues if it was a road. Okay. um, 10-foot rear setback, so this is an alley, it's not a street, so it's not subject to 30 feet. Because the thing the reason I asked is because on the other. well, the
Yeah,
left
this is,
corner,
this is the street,
Yeah,
then, yeah, this is now,
so,
no, it's just, I would do this even if I have 5 feet, because you don't have a radius to turn, right? So I need this setback regardless, otherwise I won't be able to turn it, and go straight into the garage.
and is there a fence here?
There is a fence, yeah, there's a fence here, that we're gonna have to obviously modify.
So it's just gonna turn in.
It's gonna turn, exactly, it's gonna turn, exactly. That's the.
And you do think you're gonna have enough radius?
I do, yes, I do.
That is a typo. I just they're doing all the drainage
Yes.
stuff right now.
Finally, I was so happy. Yeah, I was thinking that my garage is gonna be underwater, but no. We were fixing that. Good timing.
So lot coverage, calculation. So you're at 31% with the new addition, with the new
Mhm.
primary deck. And where's this, that calculation?
I think it is. And I will,
This is 501
Yes.
feet,
mhm.
so 501 plus 1196.
Yeah, it'd just be 501 plus that.
Yeah,
it'd be
so
36
You're
on
still
there.
at, this should actually be 3624 or 3625. So, you just have to update this calculation.
Yeah.
But you're still within under 31. Your 50% is, 4,500, so yeah, you're still there.
Lot of green.
That's a general outdoor shower. Is that?
Yeah, we wanna, okay, the idea was in the future, put a pool. But we wanna do this work now, because we're doing the plumbing, so might as well do the cabana bath in there, and then eventually we'll do the priority.
It's not a structure. It's only a ground.
It's just gonna be, yeah. Mhm. Yeah.
It's only a
Right.
little cabana bathroom right now, so that's good. I don't know about that. Absolutely.
No, actually, it's gonna match, we're gonna use the same type as we're having over, we're gonna, not sure, for sure. In fact, he did it in the, yeah. Yeah, we're not gonna,
So it's gonna be tile.
it's gonna be, no, I don't know. No, it's gonna match the same tiles that we have in there.
Box.
I know, I want it simple, just need a garage, that's.
You'll just have to get a separate, roofing permit and a
Yeah.
windows and door permit.
Yeah.
Like,
Mhm.
Any other comments? All right,
Thank you very much.
the only comment is that it has to be a power.
Perfect. Beautiful. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Submitted it through the portal.
I did. finish the photo.
I don't
Yeah.
need, I don't.
You don't get it? I can leave. You No? Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. Good night.
Right, take care.
So the comment is no, make sure it's commented in your response that it has to be a tile roof, not asphalt. All right. I believe you're here for Jakar Holdings, it looks like. Okay, that's a discussion, 6A Jakar Holdings. LLC 11063 Griffin Boulevard, alteration, principal building additions. Glad you're here, thank you. Senior.
Yeah, so, yeah, we talked to the owner. This one is the main house, and then this is the workshop.
So this is the renovation of the house on Griffin?
Yeah.
You guys, you just flip it a little bit? This house. Right. This side. So,
Yeah, the garage. And the owner wants to change the whole roof to a flat roof. So it's gonna be, yeah, this is the Griffin Boulevard. This is the garage. And then she added a little art studio here. This is the main house, and this is the additional workshop. And there is a small shop. Yeah, whole roof is done.
If you're keeping the walls or you changing the?
Part of, was gonna be, remain. This the demolition. Mhm.
Just going on.
Yeah, there is a one story and it's gonna go. Yeah, yes, this is the second one, 22, 22, 20, 15. So she wants to have a loggia. This one, the loggia, the table wet.
So you had sent an email asking whether or not the accessory structure had to have two level. roof.
Yes, I made a little, higher, yeah. But even though everything is,
Well, that was right. So it does say that it has to have the same characteristics as the consistency with the principal structure.
the thing is, this garage is
Yeah.
kind of small, but I make a two levels.
Yeah.
And the shed, this one is only like 96 max. So I don't know how to make it.
Two level.
I mean.
Oh, no. Oh,
level.
you're calling it a shed. A shed has a
It's
certain,
not,
yeah,
okay,
you don't have to, it's a separate permit. It's like an accessory structure. So,
Well, yeah, you're in the one that's story in bed.
I'm like, what?
yeah, I don't know how to make it.
Do you have what to do for the?
Oh,
like a-
Just because
no.
this is
Like,
kind of
looking on the
looking
front.
Oh,
I mean, just from this, it looks like a lot.
this like coverage include all the paving area too?
Towards the front. Usually there's a chart at the beginning that you guys use.
Yeah,
Here you go.
I did include, the other structures, but I didn't include the pool and the paving area,
So your total lot is how big?
25,000.
So you can't go over 12,500.
Yeah, so I will make another,
It's
area.
everything that is on the lot.
Well, yeah, so right now, this is all the stuff that's in the map, so, right, so this stuff that has to get added,
okay.
including the. Cause like, so if right now it's 63, let's just call it, plus 25,
Uh-huh.
right, then that becomes 88 right?
Yeah,
So.
and
you-
this one too, right? Or-
Yeah, so,
And the
so
pool.
basically, the 88 that you are just off of this assisted stuff
Mhm.
can't go above 12,500. Because
50% of the.
exactly, so you have to make all of this stuff all work
Mm-hmm.
in less than roughly.
Okay.
Hold on. This is 6,000.
You-
295,
yeah,
and then I added the 2,500, so I just, 3 plus
Okay,
25,
so you're up
so
to
that's
20.
how I got the 88,
Okay.
and then to get to 12,500, it says that you have to do the rest of it. And less than the- And as long as then that new, this page comes back to under 12,500.
Mhm. Yeah. And another, this is a 50, less than 40%. That would be fine, but this one, aggregate area means, does it include this area too?
It's accessory structure, so it's actually a structure. I mean, the accessory, no, it actually says accessory building.
Okay.
So it's a building. The pool is not a building. It's an accessory structure, but it's actually a building.
Okay, so it's only this one.
Yeah, so you're fine on this, you're fine on this. you're only gonna do obviously all of this stuff.
Okay.
Back to that.
So I will add another side.
So. there's a discussion with the board. In previous board, we have considered if the structures are connected, they are actually one structure. This is
Yeah.
actually technically not a accessory structure. It is actually a portion of the house. because It is connected, it is connected by a structure. Yeah, so.
Is it-
I mean, you're covering your bases both ways, but I'm just saying, you could actually, the argument can be made that this is actually one building. Because all the, it's.
They are
it's-
connected.
This discussion with the board, what do y'all think of that? I mean, do we agree on, because if you look at it, look, it's all, it's connected. It's not gonna change your design or your.
Numbers work either way. Instead of counting accessory, you just say, you essentially have to protect. So
Mm.
that's the house, couple of things like that.
Does it make it easier for her from a get?
I think that
That
would
would be-
Yeah, if it is main, building, I don't need a.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
that's the thing. Well, that's what I'm saying, but if this thing was
It's
not
fair,
there.
it's a moot point.
Yeah.
I'm just saying if it wasn't accessory, I still would use the corner. But yes, it's all one structure now. You know, we got those pop-ups that side by side.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Huh? The reason I have to do it.
Yeah, I will give you a little
So,
jab in the fact, I mean, it's your client, but this is such a great Miami. You know, little art deco.
Yeah,
It's such a shame, but.
yeah, it's just what she said.
I mean, look at the.
She hates the, or this like, this, little corner.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure we're gonna get an email from somebody, let me see what's going on, but it's their right, they're allowed to do it.
The house next to it. The house next to it. One to the left. That was kind of done. Yeah. This is what this is right now. Big one on the corner, really big house, really big garage, but like. And I know those people, because my little brother lives there and I have a good relationship with them, but like whoever buys that is going to do a lot of it.
So, are you at the point that you're applying for a permit yet? or you're-
Not yet.
this is,
Yes.
So, I mean, you technically just had a first review with us.
Mhm.
So if you come back in, when you do apply, we are going to, use the same standard that we have with three meetings, we have three reviews.
Mhm.
But your permits are so developed that you probably will actually, you might actually move forward with that. If, the board's in agreement on that, but, you
Please
know,
tell me all the, doing, yeah.
I would, no, we could actually, you, we actually like to tell people, don't go through all your MEPs before you get zoning approval. Because if we make it change,
Uh-huh.
and then you're like, oh my goodness,
Right,
I make all
right.
these changes, pay all this money
Mhm.
for people just for them to change the MEP. So I would recommend that you bring your architectural, which you have right here.
Uh-huh.
What you have right here, we could look at and approve.
Oh,
And
okay.
then once you get our approval, then send it off. We've had a lot of, we've had people that have. Well, she hasn't actually applied yet, but we want to consider it.
Yeah, I would say that we, yeah,
Well, but they're usually a permit application. involved.
well, yeah, but don't, but
It will be after the second reading.
Or you're saying next time.
I'm just saying, if when you do apply, you might expedite it, not
Uh-huh.
require them to
Uh-huh.
read that, because you heard earlier, we give you feedback, and then you can come back and we have feedback. and,
Yeah,
You know, so,
okay. So do I, define this one is, for one house or?
the way you have it now is fine, you're within your 40%, your, what's it, 30%, I mean, you're,
Yeah, application as a one house. Yeah, because this one is fine, but this one not really necessary, it's two letter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
um,
but I don't think the owner likes it too.
I mean, you could put on the application, renovation or, of existing house to include gym and workshop.
Mhm.
But it's, you don't have to, I don't think you have to define these as separate.
You say renovation and alteration, and renovation.
Uh-huh.
Addition.
Okay. Yeah. What about, because we convert this to the gym, I have a full car here, tandem.
Yeah.
Tandem is okay.
Yes,
And that
you,
would be
you
separate.
also would need a, yeah,
Separate for
So
this.
this is all gonna be. Still, you'll come back.
a shed for, you'd wanna, you need a shed permit as well, right?
Every problem I should.
just the master.
You don't.
Yeah.
All these will come before.
Like, for instance, lots of people don't come for the window ones, because the only thing that we're looking at is really all the windows on the front and stuff like that, so like, we don't need someone to, as long as the schedule is there, we don't need somebody to. Yeah.
You're doing all these, full product approvals and.
If you wanna hang out with us, you're welcome to, though.
I mean, yeah, you can build the client for being here, come.
Like, which one, she's gonna use as a gym. But she has she wants to have like 2 bathrooms.
Okay.
And then this is the wet bar. The first one is, I think, is a ice cream chef. So she wants to use this for a business workshop. And then I don't think she's gonna use it anymore.
So, just want to be clear, you're in a single family zone.
Mhm.
Adding a second kitchen. Makes it, like this is one heartbeat away from having a second kitchen to become a duplex.
If it's a wet, just a wet bar.
And a bedroom and a bathroom, I mean, it's
Bathroom.
basically another house.
Uh,
So we just want to be really clear that you're in a single family zone. and,
But if it is a one house, it's gonna be like another bedroom, it's fine, right? This is one big
It
house.
is, but the second
Kitchen?
kitchen would be the part that's running at the right flag.
Yeah, so if it's all one house, you could have a full bathroom and say it's a bedroom, master suite, but it can't have a second kitchen.
But it's only, I think she's gonna wanna go to wine stories and then.
No, you're
Kitchen?
allowed, to have wet bars and cabanas,
Uh-huh.
but we just want to be clear that there should
Ah.
all of a sudden be a oven in there. And
No.
now all of a sudden there's a second unit in this house.
No, I
Because
know that.
people like,
Yeah,
people like to do that.
okay.
Good question.
Yeah.
What the threshold of a kitchen, 'cause you can have a bar sink.
Yeah,
Inside.
So
yeah, 'cause you can
another
have
zoning,
Interior barbecue kitchen, yeah.
so the shed doesn't have any utility service? Does it mean, what about the electrical? Electrical. And I mark up some large, trees. And it was a existing, yeah,
So this is 8'4".
yeah, and this is the cover, the cover,
So this thing cannot be more than 100 square feet,
including this one.
including that. So the
So I
entire,
need to,
the
take it
entire
out.
shed has to be less than 100 feet, but 100 square feet over. Right now with 8+4, but you're over.
Uh-huh.
If it was like that, you would be very close.
Mhm.
But-
Mhm. So, the tree, there are a big tree, so I mark up here. But, do we need to,
You need to have another drawing, just for, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But for us, we would want to just see that, just have a separate plan that says, oak tree, existing, and then identify any trees that you will be removing. Again,
Oh, I don't really touch any.
I mean, you have a little, I don't know if you're cutting around that. This tree,
She already trimmed the,
okay. We just need to know what's there and what's gonna be removed. So you could actually do another drawing than a tree.
there is a septic tank here. I requested, health, department. They don't have any report. And here, we don't find any report. So. You have a.
I mean, you're probably gonna need to put certain septic
With all that additional.
Yeah.
with all that.
Do we need
Yeah.
a, like, septic certification for the current?
well, they're based off of the number of bathrooms that you're putting in, and this is just off of prior experience. You're probably Durham from the county, because we don't have our own Durham here, but Durham from the county is probably gonna make you put a new septic, which they now have new like field size requirements that will go in the front of the house. So luckily you don't have too much stuff going on in the front, but that'll get torn up when they make you put the new septic, and then you have to resod it and stuff like
This
that.
one is your, the
But
separate.
we,
Yeah,
we don't.
yes.
We're looking at the zoning.
We as in planning and zoning board, so when you submit the permit to the building department,
That's,
they might ask you for the county permit. for that.
that's when the county Durham will get involved, and that's when I say I would prepare your client for the fact that they're gonna make you pay to put a new on the current standard septic system in the front yard.
Okay.
But that's all up to Durham, and also Durham can take a long time
Oh, yeah.
to do that.
Yeah.
That's the new code basically is saying like, hey, yeah, we're making you do any improvements, then we're making you relocate the whole thing to the front.
Everyone is freaked out because of that. This area and
Yeah.
then the Miami shore.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you so much. I think.
I think they'll understand that they want to put it there. But I don't like David saying that, there's nothing like that. You have to have the drain field in the front too?
Yeah, and the problem is the drain fields now are like 40% larger than what the previous code stuff was, which really screwed up my little brother's driveway plan.
And the grandkids has to be together, shorter.
With where it is, but again, that you could call, actually, you
Uh-huh.
could call Durham once, maybe after you've done the next one with us. You could call Durham and walk them through what it is that you have. And if I were you, based off the conversations I'd have with Durham, I would play dumb about like, oh yeah, we know exactly where our septic is in the back. I wouldn't say like, oh yeah, we have no idea, like, nobody can find the specific plan for it. I would just be like, yeah, we currently have it in the back, and then get an opinion from them off of like, oh, based off of the number of bathrooms that you're adding, or bedrooms and bathrooms, because they look at both of those numbers for whatever reason. And then see if they're going to request that you look to the front, and then they'll tell you what size unit you would have to get. And based off of that, then you also know what size field you have to get. And you just have to, the reason why you just pay attention and why the driveway permit, for instance, is separate is because that may change the way that you have your driveway layout. You may have to have the actual stone U-turn closer to the property line because you may need to have a wider space for the field.
But that's something we can.
Yeah,
to work
that's
out
not an
with Durham, not with us, so, right? Any other questions? Okay, we're here every 2 weeks. If you want to have any more questions, please come back. But we'll look for your application, okay? Well, she hasn't actually applied. But the second application will be considered a second. When she comes back, we'll go ahead and we'll consider it a second review.
But she would still be a discussion item.
Yeah, it'll still be a discussion item.
So that's why we can count this one as.
Yeah, we can, regulate that, requirement on our own. All right, let's go back up to the top of the agenda. I have the minutes from the February 21st, 2023 meeting. Thank you, ma'am. Good night. Well, I'm going to go back down now through the agenda now. Okay, so. Didn't get a chance to look at the minutes now. What we do is we clear out everybody, and then we go back and we do the agenda stuff that nobody's here, instead of making people wait. So that is fine.
That's also why we make all of these big looking at plan stuff, why we make them discussion items. And we only ever move it to the actual. One that we're gonna notice it, because then as we go through it, usually it's also the professionals, but like the people that were gonna take 20 minutes to go through their thing, we're doing them to the end. That way, everybody that's in the first 8, 10 or whatever can get that.
February 21st. Ah. Purposes. Table. Discussion, additional work. Ontario. Okay.
So we're just out of curiosity. So I saw that Veronica was on here. So like, for instance, Mac being here, we add them to the role officially.
Yeah, I don't,
Each
yeah,
time that-
yeah, that's true. She is not actually a part of this meeting, so she really shouldn't be. Yeah, on the roll call. She just came as
Like the way that Mac
like
did.
in-
Well, that's what I was wondering. I don't know. Are we?
She go under
supposed to-
new items, really, it's like,
yeah, she shouldn't be under part of the roll call because she's not part of this meeting, so that should be struck.
Hey, I contributed.
She shouldn't be on there. She's not part of our minute. She wasn't. on
Oh,
our
it's
agenda.
sad,
She
but
came in.
see, they sure-
So there's no need for her to be on our minutes. No, he just came to observe.
yeah, he just, at this point, he's a member of the public.
Yeah, he just, if he was here to discuss something, then we would add it to our minutes.
That's why.
Just strike that. I signed it if you wanted.
Jay's just staring at me. I thought I winked at him.
Yeah, just change it,
Oh,
just change it.
yeah.
Change it. Just attach the signature. Okay. Motion, please.
Motion to approve pending the one change to the roll call.
Second. All fair say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Okay, next, we're going back down the agenda, Building D, Candelario, 11121 Northeast 11th Place. Replace and install impact window and 2 open doors. Single hung casement, single hung horizontal slider. The number H is a horizontal slider, which is on the back of the house. So A, B, C, D, and A.
The D is single.
A, casement, B, door, C, fixed window, which a fixed and a casement are the same,
D.
and then, huh?
D as in dog is a single hung and it's in the front.
Yeah, that's fine. You can have casement in a single hung. Casement's just a square.
Wait, hold on. My mind is blown. Since when can you have casement and a single hung? Or because a casement is like having a horizontal roller. Right? It's just like a horizontal roller. By the way, I'm fine with it. And I'm only, this has been like.
It's always
the
been,
moment I
it's
got
always
here.
been this or this, because a casement is just a rectangle
Yeah,
with no line down the middle. It's, if it had a line down the middle, then you have a horizontal and you have a vertical.
listen, again, I have no problem with it. I have no problem with a person with a horizontal roller and a single hung. But I've just never,
I've never had an issue with that. Okay.
Motion to approve.
second,
Say aye.
Aye.
It's the horizontal vertical thing that are. Motion approved. Okay, so next. We talked about that and then Lemoore addition discussion. Are they here? Right, since they're not here, we'll
Table. Motion to table.
well, it's a discussion, so. Okay,
I'll discuss the motion to table by myself.
so I don't. I'll let it go. Because their picture window is 3 fixed windows, so there are vertical mullions in their picture window in the center. Because there's an elevation, that's really a drawing in that package.
I still have an issue. with it.
Okay. That approved, so let the minutes.
I mean, if you want to contest.
No, it's,
it,
I,
mean-
I don't have no problem with either way. Already approved.
Can do a second.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, so I could stand corrected on that one thing if you wanted to change that. Okay, well, no, because if you look at it, if you look at what I was reading,
No, no,
number C is
He says
number C is
fixed.
a fixed window.
Yeah, it's 3 fixed windows,
Okay,
yeah. But anyways, they got one through the cracks, good for them, they won.
what am I got here? What is this?
How you sign, this is.
What did I just, what? Negretti, okay.
We're gonna have discussion items without the applicant, like we're just supposed to discuss it amongst ourselves.
Huh?
Can I ask you a question?
So do we want to look at that?
You,
Is that what you're saying?
the Architect, is there like they're like software that have like pre-rendered specific cars, like how they had like a white Ferrari and I've seen ones with Teslas and stuff like that. Is that like something that you pay for is like, or is that AutoCADed on like most software standard? or something?
Yeah, I mean, most render programs can probably pick cars from a library
Of a bunch of stuff.
So didn't we like deny this one based on the fact that there was no parking provided? Is that what, is we're talking about, are we gonna look at, are we not gonna talk about
discussion a little more.
more?
Yeah, I thought that we.
We're not gonna talk it? Okay.
Yeah.
No, we can look at it. I just find it amusing that when someone has a discussion and they don't show up, it's like, what,
What's the
we're
point?
supposed to talk to each other about it and.
Yeah, okay. that's
I'd
fine.
already motioned to table it.
That's,
Hold
we already,
on.
and we already tabled it. It's already done.
Yeah,
Okay. So any further business? Our next meeting will be,
next week on Wednesday. Come on, Raphael. Come on, you almost let us sneak that by you too.
so that's our, but actually that's actually our, different board.
I just meant I got to see you and hang out with you, so I always circle those dates on.
So the next planning board meeting is gonna be on March 20th.
So the 15th is not you guys?
It's.
No, it's us,
Two
but
boards.
we're two boards.
We are two boards.
We get twice the salary and twice the benefits.
Okay, so the next planning board meeting is gonna be on March 20th. We are gonna meet as a, the Land Development Board on the 15th. So
That has nothing
motion
to
to-
do with all the storm stuff that's happening. Like all of the big construction and tie-up stuff.
I don't think so. No.
Were we supposed to ever have seen anything for any of that?
Just a fence permit.
Just the fence permit, yeah. All right, so can I get a motion to adjourn? We actually have another meeting after this that
Motion
we
to
have,
adjourn.
okay, so we are,
Oh, we have two agendas tonight? We have a planning agenda tonight?
we do. You didn't see all those emails?
They were for the 15th.
They were very confusing.
Okay, so we have a, so can I get a motion? Okay, So,
I did it and Edward seconded.
okay, so we are adjourned. So I am now gonna call to order the meeting of the local planning agency of the Village of Biscayne Park. It is now Monday, March 6th, 2023 at 8:22. So, where's the calendar?
I'm here.
Oh, David, I'll do roll call. David,
Here.
Scarlett,
Here.
Ed, I'm here. Gage is, okay, so
Veronica's not here.
she was supposed to send us a, so the reason we're having this meeting is because that we are gonna be looking on the 15th at the new comprehensive plan. So, the reason I wanted us to look at it this evening is just that I want everybody to be prepared on the 15th, because they are actually gonna be asking us to vote on the 15th on it. So I didn't want them to just be like, here's the plan, vote on it. So I said, well, we're meeting tonight. I want us to all look at it. We don't have to look at it now, but I want us to be aware that it, they're updating the plan. Now,
Do we have it?
yeah, it's, so if you look,
Here, I just went to go get water and found printed out handout.
oh, actually, let me have one of those.
I was like, wait a second, this seems fairly, well, actually, this is technically for Wednesday, but it seems to have the information.
So we're gonna change that to March 6th.
Okay, I see. It's in the same email.
Yeah.
Which of all these hyperlinks should we push?
So let's just look at the first one, which is the top one. I just changed it. Okay, but although, what's right, we have actually letterhead that has all of our names on it. He has all our names, chairman, there's actually a planning board letterhead. Okay. That's right. Because I don't have any, I don't have anybody to check off, roll call to check off. So we should have that put on there somehow. Okay. So if you look at the comprehensive plan, the update, the red line is really, it looks like they're just cleaning up the language. I mean, is that, Scarlett, you've looked at it, is that kind of what they're doing? I don't think they're proposing anything new as far as density, and it's not, it's just a state mandated cleanup, correct?
Yeah. I'll go obviously look through it in more detail. I just kind of glanced through it, a couple days ago, but, it seemed
Yeah, I-
alarming.
I remember reading through this and I was like, I got to the bottom and I was like, I spent 20 minutes reading through this.
Yeah, it's just changing it from may to it
May.
will, may to will, may to. From it's to and, from
Okay.
N to F.
They, all of a sudden, we were actively doing a lot of stuff. They kept adding INGs to different words to everything.
Support alternative fuel, you know, it's, but there's no like policy changes that are happening. Cause you know, this is what regulates our village is we're supposed to base all our decisions on any laws and everything based on the comp plan. So, and we're tasked with we're technically originally was tasked to coming up with it and then actually approving it, but now that we have a more developed form of government, we actually hire people to do it. And then we just kind of review it and say yes or no and send it to the commission.
So I found this is why I was asking you this question. So on page 25 of 51,
Okay.
at that comprehensive plan, it's the public facilities element, objective 2. Like all of this seems to be about septic, right? But objective 2 is they added so it now is supposed to read to address sanitary sewer needs through septic tanks that are maintained in accordance with all applicable requirements and so cause minimal contamination of groundwater from septic system, leakage of pathogens, nutrients, or other harmful subjects. And then they struck out old language that said include a new policy or new objective 2 stating that the village's level of service standard for sanitary sewer in septic tanks is maintained in accordance with all applicable requirements. So
I don't see where you're reading. I'm sorry. Policy, what?
it's on page 25 of 51 of the PDF, but it's chapter 4, public facilities elements.
Public facilities, okay. Objective 2,
Yeah.
policy
it's at the bottom.
2.1, 2.2.
Yeah, so objective 2, which is above the policy 2.1. That, like, I guess my question is anything that we're gonna be talking about have to do with like, is there anything in this 30 or 50-year plan for like getting off of septic at a certain point if everything else is like concerned about water rising?
Yeah, I
and
think that's
stuff
a
like
really
that?
good point. I think that this is the time we should update and get something in there that we would want to coordinate with the county, and
Cause basically
maybe
this,
Miami Shores, because I think they want to do it too.
So I'm just, I don't see where you're reading, David. I
Objective
see
two.
objective 2.
Yeah, directly in that paragraph, under objective 2.
What
No,
paragraph? What
you're
paragraph?
yeah,
You said
at a
page
different-
25.
yeah. Not that it's that close.
This one, comprehensive plan.
So I
No,
click
no,
that
no.
first PD, yeah, so just go up and I just click that. Yeah, so now go to 25.
Why is it so different than what I was just looking at?
I'm trying to find it.
Well, no, I just want to make sure that they have all their ducks in the row. That they're full, right?
Yeah.
It might be that you clicked on the ordinance.
Chapter 3. Transportation. 16, okay. No, you just said page 23.
Oh, no, so this is technically page 1.
Okay.
This is what I was reading, and basically from here down, like, I was like, oh, so I was wondering if we're talking about, because like, I think one of the tough parts of the rest of this stuff with like, oh yeah, we want to have this much potable water available to us and all of that, is like, that language is talking about, like climate concerns and stuff like that. And it's like, oh, let's not talk about the fact that we're all on septic. And so if this is a 50-year plan and we're trying to take that it into account for fresh water, we aren't taking it into account then on no language or anything like that about getting off of septic over the long run. Or doing something so that that way, if we do have these issues, it's not having leakage of pathogens, nutrients, or other harmful substances. It's a family. Say what it is.
But
So it was going to be a question I was gonna ask at this meeting on the 15th, because it appears that they're making changes to it.
but is it,
We think that there should be more stuff in there as far as get a little bit more meat to it.
Well, because,
but it says here at the top, it says the goal is sanitary sewers.
well, yeah, so then policy 1.1 says, the Public Works Department of Biscayne Park will continue coordinating the village's participation in the county solid waste management system, which includes county-owned solid waste disposal facilities and those operated under contract with the county for disposal. Will collectively maintain a solid waste disposal capacity sufficient to accommodate waste flows committed to the system through long-term interlocal agreements or contracts with municipalities and private waste haulers, and anticipate non-committed waste flows. To me, that sounds like that's talking about trash,
Yeah, that's.
which,
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think we switched over to solid waste as,
yeah, so it's like in everything, they deleted one sentence which says, include a new policy under new objective 2 stating that the village's level of service standard for sanitary sewer and septic tanks is maintained in accordance with all applicable requirements. But like nowhere in here do we ever talk about what basically most realtors, most residents, and most potential residents talk about for Miami Shores and for Biscayne Park, which is the fact that we're some of the last places that are still on septic, and that can cause problems, especially with climate change stuff and everything like that.
I think the entire Upper East Side is still on septic. And it's not just our two villages. I think you go from downtown Miami all the way up to having the, Ojus and Aventura, and those are probably all still on septic, It's an entire, but no, but I think that you,
Side is septic?
I don't know about east of Biscayne, but I know that they're like, right now, they're over putting in, sewers in, Shorecrest. I think that's part of the county plan, is that they're doing a little section at a time. So they're over in Shorecrest because that's so low.
Yeah.
But
So I guess my question to these people will be, hey, are we on the calendar for which decade? And is this something that's being addressed? Because from the top level stuff that I was reading is like, the main thing is that we're changing the amount of the volume of fresh water that we want to make sure is still available per resident and stuff like that. And it's like, okay, if we have concerns on the fresh water, we should also have concerns on the gray and black water.
I mean, I agree, but I would imagine that Alex, I think Alex is doing this, Calvin Giordano. I'm sure he's had to have that conversation of like, and, but I mean, let's talk about it. I'm not disagreeing, but I'm just saying, it's gotta have been part of their thought process on creating this, is how do we set goals to get off of septic?
Yeah, no, and that's why I said for me, it was weird just seeing it and slightly disappointing, just seeing it be exclusively around
Could be
the
that
amount of
we just
fresh
haven't
water.
put Our input yet. Or anything.
Yeah, but it does,
Or, and it maybe isn't universally popular to do that because, everybody's gonna have to pay for their own lateral connect. Money out of their pockets, so.
well, there's just no way we're gonna have sewers until the county or the city, the
Yeah, no. it has
government
to be-
comes in and does something.
It has to be a system.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
gotta be a system to connect it. But let me see, does it say to optimize coordination with the county solid waste management system?
That is for trash. So like we're making all of these changes, like to me, it's odd that they're doing lots more changes to all of the crap that's like not really that important to be changing. And then the thing that is, I would say, second most important, if they're saying that the most important thing is the fresh water, the second most important part, they're deleting prior language that said that they were going to make it a focus by including a new policy to like,
mean,
increase the level of.
You read this part at the top of chapter 4 where it says San Jose Sewer goal is to maintain existing systems in accordance with all of this until or unless a centralized sewage system is provided.
Yeah, and so that's why I'm saying like, my entire point in bringing all this up is just so that way on the 15th, I'm surprised to you guys when I'm like, hey, by the way, what's our plan for this? and
So,
what
right,
the
like,
climate
To
change
that,
and
to
stuff like
that, we could recommend a policy that actually has an action to it.
Yeah.
Coordinate with the county, by 2025 and, seek grant opportunities. There's lots of infrastructure grant money out there, federal grant money that I know that they've actually come to Mayor Cava and said, hey, what are your big overriding regional projects that you want money for? And tell us what it is and we're gonna try to get it to you.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
and then
a great example, a lot of communities that still don't have sewer, that's a great grant project right there. So you can-
And the second part to that, I think would be great, is actively and continually identify the steps or conditions that we can meet to basically come to the top of the list of like, oh, okay, you guys are next up at bat for doing this stuff, if you check the box.
Right.
Yeah.
And putting a policy in the comprehensive plan is is the first step. Very
Okay,
first step.
I'm totally agree with, but that's feedback we can give them and we can say we want to, they're gonna, I know they think of us as like this rubber stamp board, but it's kind of our job to do this, to bring up these topics. Okay, so we'll bring that up at the next meeting. That's kind of one of the reasons I wanted us to talk about it tonight, so we can just throw things out there that we see. So let's, what are actually thinking about it?
And then the other part that I saw had like very specific fast deadlines for lawyer stuff that said, I knew that it was kind of close here. It says, it's on page, if you're on a Mac, it's on page 32 of the comprehensive plan. And it basically is talking about creating like, landscape and irrigation, measures. It says by May 1st, 2023. So that's why it caught my eye when I was reading it, because that's very fast for lawyers.
Sticking it across.
The village will adopt conservation measures by ordinance in conformance with the SFWMDs. Don't know what that means. Mandatory year-round landscape irrigation conservation measures,
It's a
which
water
is,
management district.
okay, and that whole, what I just read is in, every word's in caps, so it's a specific act. It seems like 40E-24. Specifically, the village ordinance will prohibit landscape irrigation during those periods of the day when irrigation efficiency significantly decreases and limit landscape irrigation water use to 2 days per week. The village ordinance will further encourage users to apply no more than 3/4 inch to 1 inch water per week on their lawns and landscape areas only as needed to supplement rainfall. I don't know if that's a lot or a little or.
It's a state law, isn't it?
Yeah.
I write that in there.
So, but the state is probably the one that's requiring us to have it by May 1st.
Okay,
So this is probably like, okay, we have to do this, put it in our comp plan.
okay,
Um,
all right, that makes.
because it does seem like it's a very quick thing for anything for this village.
Oh, we
to
can
do.
ask Alex about that too.
Yeah.
See if that is real.
Well, the one thing that I would say is, it doesn't seem as if we have, as Biscayne Park, have circulated that knowledge to anywhere. Because me reading that, I was like, oh, I don't have the sprinklers turned on in my house, at either house right now. But I have the systems there and just don't run. them.
Well, don't we, I mean, when we're under water restrictions, I mean, it's technically a code enforcement thing to make sure.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is it seems as if that's a new thing that then is like, oh, 2 days can't be more than 3/4 inch, and then it's not like, but like, it seems like it's a new permanent thing versus like,
No, it is, and it's been around for a long time.
okay,
Yeah,
but, and
it's permanent.
as
It's not- it's not
Biscayne
just
Park,
in
okay,
water
all right.
restrictions.
But have you guys seen anything like that? Hey, guys, by the way. you
No,
should
not,
change your
not,
stuff"?
not in the village. But
Writing it and enforcing it is two different things, yeah.
the other cities that I work
Well, writing it, enforcing it and informing the residents, right? That's simple as an email blast saying, you know, as of May 21, we gotta comply with this.
But I don't think that anybody's gonna be sending a inspector up to our pumps
So
for the water.
No, but to irrigate 2 days a week, that's a timer I can set on my,
Yeah, but we used to, I mean, there is. I mean, when we were in the drought, we could only rain like between like 5 and 7 in the morning, and it was only like 2 days a week, or, you know, they said, I mean, it was pretty,
yeah. I'm just saying, I'm not aware of any rules that
Yeah,
pertain to irrigation.
yeah,
So maybe I just never,
you know, having it run in the middle of the afternoon is. you know, Probably, but. I don't want to take on that as a board, so. But I think-
It's also gonna be in the water plan, stuff that we're adopting as well. One of the items too.
Yeah, if you, where it seems like they added a lot of stuff is at the bottom of page 34.
Yeah.
When I read all of this stuff, it all made sense and then I didn't have any questions on it, but that's where it seemed like they added a lot of crap. I didn't see anywhere else in this whole thing where they added as much as the bottom to that.
Yeah, I think that's all probably state mandated, flood.
Yeah, that's
or
what it, that's what, it-
rise stuff that we have to have in here.
yeah, that's what it seemed like.
So, again, everybody look through it, come to the table with. Continue studying the feasibility annexing adjacent and incorporated areas. I think that ship has passed.
Do we know for that little dam water treatment thing that's in in the middle of the golf course? Like, do we know like the updating schedule of that as far as like when they, like how many years is it that they come out and they retrofit it to like the most kind of county specific or state specific for like the drain outflows and stuff like that, for moving storm waters and everything?
I mean, that's all South Florida Water Management District, so, I mean, they regulate that, they run that, I don't think we even have any say in it. You know, roughly, you
Is
know,
my-
basically, thank you and shut up, pretty much, that's probably would tell us.
Cause
you know.
that's exactly what my uncle does, and he's like, hey, yeah, so if that's old and shitty and not working properly, all of the water from the entire rest of the county is gonna come down the canal to here, and it's just gonna come up and flood this area.
Well, we had that during one of the storms. One of the big storms, I don't think it was a hurricane, they did not open that. And all the people on South Griffin got flooded. They came up into their backyards. There was a big thing about, you know, like, you know, the city needs to call them, they need to open the dam. You know, there's an unexpected rainstorm that happened and they didn't open it up, so.
That's what he said, that it's supposed to have like all of these different sensors and all these different like things, so that you don't need any like guy with a monkey wrench to go and
It's
do it.
automated, yeah.
But he was like, hey, you should ask questions about that because that can back up and flood all of you guys, because he looked at what this, because this canal is called C8, and he looked at how deep and how wide, and it's like, this thing goes out all the way to the Everglades, so like,
Does it go to Lake Okeechobee?
I don't think that he looked at it past or that far, but it's like straight up, like, and then it goes up towards Weston.
This
So
is,
tons and tons of water.
this is like the one that's up in North Miami Beach, that's more of one that like goes up, I think goes up to Lake Okeechobee. This one is more of, it drains the plains of like, you know, Opalaka and all that stuff, it just, everything kind of drains into that.
Yeah, it seemed like it was Weston down and then almost like north to Rowell, like that, all of that is. To then come down, he's like, yeah, so if that thing's not doing what it's supposed to, then, so he's like, I don't know if it's on a 5-year plan and I think they said like 5-year, he said like a 5-year retrofit and a 10-year upgrade plan, or like, I don't know what it's on. Certain technical things, it's scary.
Yeah.
I was like, okay. How deep is it now? I don't know. No idea. Deep enough that somebody threw a cut palm tree in it and it came and I had lots of turtles on it and then it sank and then the other end of the turtle or the tree came up like a Titanic. It's pretty impressive. I would imagine like 15, 20 feet in the center of it. Yeah, and at least in the center where
Okay, so the other thing we're looking at on that. So it's interesting, you clicked on through the comp plan, the one I clicked on was the draft 3/15/2023. So that was, there's some difference there. Comprehensive plan presentation. Okay, now what is the plan update? Proposed water supply facilities work plan.
So it's just, it's mandated by, the state that every, 10 years or so, every city in the state has to update their water supply, and the water management district goes first. They update theirs, and then they give you like 18 months after that to update yours. That due date is set by the state of Florida, for everybody to all the cities under South Florida Water Management District. Southeast
So-
Florida Water Management District at the same time, and it's just kind of the water management district really has the biggest say over what kind of policies they want to see in there, and Alex is an expert at it. He knows what the latest and greatest is and what they're going to want to see. So it's pretty much just kind of conservation and, like we talked about, like the sprinklers and just other things you can do, when you retrofit plumbing things and, use water-wise and education is part of it. So we might, if we don't already, we might want to have some information on our website about teaching people how to conserve water. You can have handouts at City Hall, like things like that. And it just sets the actual gallons per person per day that we're basically kind of allowed to have, and it kind of checks in to see what we're doing. Like the county, North Miami is our water provider, so they have all the statistics of how much water we're using. Doing a good job or a bad job, or are we using more water than we should, or not? And that's kind of a little bit of a check-in. And then there's the 10-year population projections, which I'm sure not going to be
Yeah, it looks
tremendous for our tiny little
We're
village,
only
but
gaining 18 people in 5
right.
years, and then
So that,
another
so we look at,
every 5 years we gain 18 people.
so we look at water usage for those additional 18 people and see if we still meet those standards. So
Okay.
that's
So- But it's, is this a new thing? Is this a plan that we've already have and we just?
yeah, we should have, if we didn't, we were not, compliant. We should be doing it.
Wouldn't-
And it should just be an update, so, it does say water.
Kind of interesting, actually, because I mean, it talks about how we have 2 mains that are 16 inches and 1 12-inch, kind of neat. I didn't realize, the technicalities of all our water supplies. It's like, are you on North Miami? Because there's a section over here that's actually fed by the county on the other side of the canal.
Oh, we're on.
You are in North Miami, so you're, okay, so somebody over here is actually North Miami.
And me and her are on a different water. thing?
No, I'm asking because I was wondering if,
I don't know. I don't know if I've gotten.
Kind of every.
Yeah, so
but you're North Miami. So you're North Miami, but there is a little section.
Yeah, I
between
drive
part-
up to North Miami when I have an issue with it and
Yeah.
go in there.
Okay, so water thing is gonna be kind of, I mean, I don't think, unless everybody can.
Man,
we
do we
didn't
have to recuse ourselves because we're Biscayne Park water?
I think you are. I mean, it's Scarlet. If you're getting North Miami bills, then you're North Miami water customers.
Yeah.
There's a small section somewhere that they're not. that are-
cheaper?
Get very cheap. For 3 months, I get like $65.
I don't, like I said, I'm scared because I haven't seen.
He's out there watering his cars.
Yeah, no,
Watching.
I don't. I so far haven't added any water to the pool and so far haven't, and I haven't ran any sprinklers, so. But 2-year-olds are filthy. You gotta pressure wash them at least once a day.
Yeah. All right, so we are gonna review We've had some nice discussions. We're gonna come back to the table on the fifteenth with more. Any further? Okay, so if not, let's go ahead and, motion to adjourn. Okay, we're adjourned at 8:50.
Hey, no one seconded.
I'll second. Doing great.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Esme. Esme. Emmy. Yes, Emmy. Yeah, one E. Some people spell it with two E's, but either way.